Welcome to the Instant Trivia Podcast, episode 1792, where we ask the best trivia on the internet. Let's get started. What is the most common surname in Sweden? Anderson. Which U.S. vice president is the only one to later serve 2 full terms as president? Thomas Jefferson. Which U.S. state effectively banned rap group 2 Live Crew in 1990 after a judge ruled their album As Nasty as They Wanna Be obscene? Florida. Which company merged with Time Warner in 1996 to form what was then the world's largest entertainment conglomerate? Turner Broadcasting System. Which playing card is famously associated with Motorhead's signature song? Ace of Spades. In Dolly Parton's famous song title, what working hours are mentioned? 9 to 5. Which Middle Eastern country is notable for having no desert and for its Mediterranean coastline and mountain ranges? Lebanon. What is the basic unit of currency used in Cameroon and several other countries in Central Africa? Central African CFA franc. Which cartoon character was the first to be turned into a parade balloon? Felix the Cat. What type of snake is known for swallowing a rabbit whole and eating as many as 150 mice in 6 months? Python. Which organization developed the first official standard for the C programming language? ANSI, American National Standards Institute. What is the capital of the U.S. state of Minnesota? St. Paul. What was the name of the slow, processional court dance popular in the 16th and 17th centuries? In Shakespeare's Othello, what is the name of the tragic wife of the Moorish general? Desdemona. Which 1977 science fiction film was Steven Spielberg's first major success after Jaws? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Which British monarch married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha? Queen Victoria. How many buttons, excluding the D-pad, did the original NES controller have? 4. Which rock band saw their career surge after appearing on MTV without their signature makeup? Kiss. Which U.S. state designated the bolo tie as its official state neckwear? Arizona. Which country historically maintained a regiment of bicycle-mounted soldiers? Answer: Switzerland. In which Beatles song does the singer feel 2 foot small? You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Which city hosted the first modern Olympic Games in 1896? Athens, Greece. Which Gorgon had snakes for hair? Medusa. Excluding the Sun, what is the star nearest to Earth? Proxima Centauri. What is the international radio code word for the letter V? Victor. What do you call an organism that lives in or on a host and often harms it? Parasite. What is the title of H.G. Wells's first novel, published in 1895? The Time Machine. In Scrabble, Q is tied with which other letter for the highest point value? ZID. Originally called New College, what is today's name of the oldest institution of higher education in the United States? Answer: Harvard University. In Greek mythology, which precious metal did King Midas turn objects into by touching them? Gold. Which well-known singer was born Marvin Lee Aday? Meatloaf. Which cartoonist created the Addams Family characters Gomez, Morticia, and Uncle Fester? Charles Addams. Which element, abundant in eggs, causes silver to tarnish? Sulfur. Which city is the capital of Italy? Rome. Which popular dish's name literally means skewer, often interpreted as on a skewer? Shish kebab. Which city hosted the pivotal 1945 conference attended by Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin? Yalta. Which part of a horse contains the wall, the white line, and the bars? The hoof. What scientific field focuses on the study of plants? Botany. Which photographer and MIT engineer pioneered high-speed strobe photography and captured iconic early images of atomic bomb detonations? Harold Doc Edgerton. Which religion's holiest shrines are located in Ise-Shima National Park in Mie Prefecture, Japan? Shinto. Which sport involves sliding stones on ice toward a circular target area called the house? Curling. Which commodity was London's Mincing Lane historically famous for trading? Tea. At its peak, the De Beers Group controlled more than 80% of the world's supply of what? Rough diamonds. Who was cremated at Raj Ghat on the banks of the Yamuna River on January 31st, 1948? Mahatma Gandhi. Bill Gates famously dropped out of which prestigious university? Harvard. What color is the edible kernel inside a shelled pistachio? Green. In what year did Thomas Edison invent the quadruplex telegraph? 1874. What device, commonly found in shoe stores, is used to measure a person's foot size? Brannock device. Which plant, famous for turning to face the sun, shares its name with the sunflower galaxy? Sunflower. What acid is primarily responsible for the tart taste of unripe apples? Malic acid. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow for more exciting trivia.